Welcome friends to this video on the career dilemma, IIT or IAS. Now many of you who are unaware of what is meant by IIT or IAS, here is the explanation. IIT, the Indian Institute of Technology. This is the best place for the most talented students in science and technology. And the IAS or the Indian Administrative Services. This is the training place for the top civil service cadre, bureaucrats, secretaries, under secretaries, those kind of elite uh, position in the government sector. So these two fields, the IIT and IAS, these are the most sought after and also offer excellent career path. Now this is the horoscope of my very good friend's son. So I'm going to call him Sunil. His name is not Sunil, but I'm just going to call him Sunil. So when I got this horoscope from my friend, it was already done by some KP astrologer, and the first thing I noticed was a note about 8-minute BTR, the birth time rectification. So out of curiosity, I ran my own rectification based on the ruling planet, and it gave me a different value. So the point about telling this is that don't trust on the KP's ruling planet to fix the birth time rectification. It doesn't work. I've never seen this working. It's very risky. So fortunately, the recorded birth time was also mentioned in that PDF that I got. So I made use of the original or the recorded birth time and not the rectified birth time. Now my friend who sent me the chart, he recently retired after serving a long tenure as a very senior IAS officer. His son is very intelligent, and his son is pursuing the AI or the artificial intelligence specialization in one of the IITs. So my friend's question was obvious: should his son Sunil make a career change and go for the IAS? Now it took me 2 days and two very long sessions with my friends to reach some conclusion. The first thing is that I'm totally clueless about how the IAS selection process works. So this is where my IAS friend guided me through each step. So that was very helpful. And this is what I call the teamwork. When I was reading the horoscope and I had to decide between the IIT and IAS, and I had no clue what this IAS process is all about. So obviously, I have to look for someone that can help me. So this is the idea of the teamwork. I created a video on the need for the teamwork in the astrology. So I'm going to share some of the discussion I had with my friend, and there were some issues also that I noticed. Those are there in the within the KP Murti Paddhati framework. So that also I'm going to discuss this presentation. Now the first thing about the career is that the, you see the clear distinction between the the science, commerce, and the art that has faded. At the time of Professor Krishnamurti, there used to be a clear division. Science meant science, commerce was commerce, and the art was art. But these days, that difference has faded out, and so it creates a very big challenge for any KP astrologer uh, to really make out a very clear kind of a career decision for a chart. So that difficulty is there, and I'm going to discuss that. Because see, these days what is happening is that the you know a student who is majoring in art could study quantum physics and become a scientist. So these days this happens, and it's not that it happens by exception; it happens quite regularly. And then a student majoring in engineering could study management and become a CFO, the financial officer in a company. So this was the first challenge that I noticed while studying this particular horoscope, that the whole KP framework has to now evolve. Professor KSK has done his work. He created a framework. He has written all those articles and guidelines for finding the career. But now time has changed. Things have moved on, and the whole career scenario has become quite complicated. So, so as a KP enthusiast, we have to find some new methods and have some new discussions and throw some new lights. So another, some stereotype rules that are mentioned in the Krishnamurti Paddhati is, now, for example, if somebody wants to pursue the medical field, right? So in that case, then we look, for the signification of the sixth house, because sixth house has something to do with disease and things like that. And if somebody wants to do some advanced level research, then the eighth and the 12th house, because both of these houses indicate research. But if you have devoted some time in Krishnamurti Paddhati, you know that these houses, 8 and 12, these are also very bad houses. So it is sometimes becomes very difficult to reconcile the both things. A career that is heavily dependent on the signification of the 8th and the 12th house and the 6th house, those are the bad houses. So sometime you might think that at that particular age, a person might go through a bad phase in his or her life, or it has something to do with the career choice. So this is one of the difficulty in Krishnamurti Paddhati. And this is not only confined to the career thing. If you are trying to figure out the nature of a profession or a business for a person, then also you run into this kind of difficulty. And similarly for the disease. So so this is one of the major challenge about the finding the exact career. Now take this example. If there is some kind of a technocrat in the medicine, that means that person has studied technology. He has also studied medicine. He has also done some research, and he is also the CEO of maybe a startup company. And as a CEO, he might have a good handle on the management as well as on the finance side. And now a lot of people, they have this mixed kind of skills. So it becomes really tough to apply the traditional stereotype rules of the Krishnamurti Paddhati. KP community has to evolve and take this challenge and look into some from the new angle. So now coming to this horoscope. So some of the things in this horoscope was where I made this use of the rules that professor has mentioned, and let me write those rules for you. This will also give you some perspective that how we decided to analyze this chart. So obviously, first thing is that you have to look at the dasha factor, because these the whether it is a IIT or IAS, and I'm pretty sure there might be some other career fields as well. Those are highly competitive. So the first thing is that the signification of the 6th and the 11th house. During that time, the dasha has to be dasha, and the bhukti or the sub period that has to be strongly connected with the 6th and the 11th house. So that will only ensure that during that time when the results are going to be announced, a person might find his name or her name appearing in the list of selected candidates. Now the second thing is, like I mentioned, the finding the exact career was a tough thing. So when I was having my discussion with my friend, so at that time I thought that since this is a government job, this whole IAS thing, so it has to do something with the sun and moon. That basically means that a person should be running the sun dasha or moon dasha, or in the signification during that time, the sun and moon should appear at the star lord or sub lord. That kind of a strong connection with the sun or moon is required if it is going to be a government job. Another thing that uh, came to my knowledge was that this IAS thing is a very it has a lot of transfers and a lot of posting. So I thought that I will make use of the 3912 uh, to figure it out whether this Sunil is horoscope does indicate that transfer and postings. See, this is one of the indirect way of ascertaining that he might go for the IAS. And finally, then I thought that let me also look at the nature of job, which is of course 2, 6, 10, and 11, and see if that indicates a private or a government job. This is a little tough thing to do, but then I thought that I'm going to analyze the chart from all these angles and then come to some kind of a conclusion. So the first thing is, let's look at the dasha. Now you will see that he has the the sun dasha, which is ending in 2027. And my friend, the IAS friend, he told me that this is uh, this whole IAS training. This is a long process, and after some training and all that, eventually somebody is sent out as some for his service as a bureaucrat. So I started looking at the dasha, and then I realized that you see, if he has to go through Sun Jupiter and then Sun Saturn, and then he has to go through Sun Mercury, all these things before his Sun Dasha ends in 2027. So, and then he has to go through Sun Ketu and then Sun Venus. Now, if you look at the the Ketu, the Bhukti or the sub period of Ketu or the sub period of Venus, then both of these are very strong. You can see the sixth house and the 11th house, right? They are pretty strong. Similarly, if you look at the Venus Bhukti, then it indicates the sixth house and the 11th house, and it also indicates the ninth house, which usually indicates higher education. Even generally, if you look at Sunil's chart, then you see all these houses regarding the education, like 3, 5, and 9, 6, 11. These are the good houses. 5, they are good houses, and they indicate generally a person's caliber in terms of how good he is in studies. So if you look at each of these planets, so you will see that all these planets in some way they are contributing towards the higher education and things like that. So he seems to me a good studious kind of a student. That my friend confirmed that he is studious, and then of course, since now he's in IIT, so obviously he seems to be quite well in the education area in his studies. But like I mentioned, the dasha is all very favorable. So the I told my friend that the dasha, until uh, the Sun Venus period, which is going to end in 2027, until that period, the dasha is very good, and he can definitely make a career change. And if he decides, he can go for the IAS. Now, one thing that I wanted to point out to you was, see, when you look at this kind of let's look at the Venus combination, right? And I'll tell you the how this whole, the 11 and 6. 11 and 6 is a very good combination in Krishnamurti Paddhati. It appears that if at that time, if a person is appearing for a competitive examination, or if he or she is expecting some kind of a promotion in the office, in the thick of some competition, then the 11 and the 6th house are going to help a lot. Now, if it would have been like this, this is a very, I would say, a very strong kind of a combination compared to the one that he has right now. See, right now he has the 11th signification in column 1 and the 6th in column 2. But if it would have been like this, what it indicate? Then it indicate that this person will very easily navigate through the competition at the time of the examination, and he or she will even find their name in the merit list. So this particular, when this combination appears on the column 2, then it acquires a certain exalted strength. So in KP, how the significators are occupying these 3 columns, it in some ways it indicates a certain degree of strength. So that was my idea in showing this, that now here he has 11 over here, and then he has 9, 6 over here. So this is a fairly good chart, it indicates success. But at the same time, I told my friend that it's not a piece of cake, and he has to put his efforts, and that's what is required. But I'm sure that he is going to get through the competition, and he is going to find himself in the list of the selected candidates. Now, to further ensure that the career path is going to be good for him, I looked at the 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 2 6 and 10 11, this combination, which is basically indicates the nature of job. So if you look at the second house over here, so you find that the the Saturn is the only strong significant. Then if you look at the sixth house, then you find the strongest. We're just trying to Rahu. Sun is in the star of Rahu. The Sun is very strong, and then Mercury is also strong, right? And then for the 10th house, if you look at the 10th house, then you find that Ketu is strong, and right, Ketu is the only planet that's in the star of Venus. And then if you look at the 11th house, then you find that again, the Ketu is there. Apart from that, the Venus is also very strong, because Venus is the lord of the 7th house, and it is the lord of the 7th cusp, and it is in the 11th house. So Venus is equally strong. And then since the Sun and Venus, this is a period when eventually he seems to be he will be selected, and he will find himself in a proper job. That's what my friend told me. So I started looking at the Sun Venus, what it indicates, and in the Krishnamurti Paddhati, see, if you have access to this particular book, the third reader. In the third reader, there's a lot of these combinations given by Professor Krishnamurti. So I went through all these combinations, and I did notice that the Sun Venus combination, it indicates government job. This indicates a government job. Apart from that, it indicates a lot many other things. If you read in that third reader, then you see Sun Venus are indicating a lot of other stuff also. But if you, for example, music and I guess theaters and all those stuff are also indicated by Sun and Venus. But since I didn't see, and then real estate and many other stuff were indicated in that combination, in that third reader. But I started eliminating all that, because see, if somebody has to be in music and all that, then fifth house has to be very strong. And if it has something to do with real estate and all that, then the fourth house has to be very strong. So I did not notice this kind of the signification of the fourth and the fifth house. So I started eliminating all those things, and I focus on the Sun Venus as the government job. So now there are all so many things were coming together. So, and what was that his 611 was good, Sun Dasha is good, and after that Sun, he will also have a Moon Dasha, and then transfer posting. I'll come to this in a while. The transfer posting thing is associated with the IAS job, and then in the nature of job also, the 2 6 10 11, it showed the government job. So combining all these things together, then I reached this conclusion that the this horoscope really looks very good from the a career change perspective. And if Sunil wants to opt out, I did speak to Sunil for a short, it was a short conversation. And he also was very keen in making a switch. So that was a good thing. He is a young chap and he was quite motivated. So, so I assured him that, yeah, if you put in good efforts, then this would be a good option for you. Now, if you look at the moon dasha. See, after the sun dasha, then he is going to go through the moon dasha, right? So in the moon dasha, look at the moon dasha. You see, it indicates the 12, 3, and 9, right? So this indicates a lot of movement, lot of journey. So, and since my friend told me that uh, this particular kind of career within the IAS, it involves a lot of transfer, postings, and moving from one place to another place. So this is one of the factors that I was able to also relate, apart from the other factors as well. And now one of the things, sometimes you think that the moon is indicating all these, it's not indicating like 10, 11, and other good houses. So let me tell you one KP rule that might be useful for you. And see what Professor Krishnamurti has mentioned in a couple of his articles, that if a particular dasha is very good, for example, the sun dasha in this chart is very good, and moon dasha is not as good as the sun, because sun, if you look at sun is a significator of 6th and 10, 11, all these good houses. Compared to that, moon is looks like a weak. But what professor has said is that the kind of momentum that sun dasha is going to give now to if that momentum has to be reversed, or if that momentum has to be stopped, then the next dasha has to be very negative. Only then it's going to stop that momentum. So basically, it means if the sun dasha is very positive, then the moon dasha has to be extremely negative to stop or reverse the momentum of the sun dasha. So this is actually a very good rule within Krishnamurti Paddhati. It's kind of hidden, but it's very useful when people are transiting from one dasha to another dasha, and many of them have these questions that is there a downfall, or is there going to be a sudden very abrupt upward change. So this particular rule, Krishnamurti's rule, could be very handy and useful. Now, my friend, obviously, he was very happy listening to all this. And then he asked me about the upay, the like the gemstone or the mantra, and even he mentioned about the Lal Kitab. I don't know who might have suggested him the Lal Kitab. So I discouraged my friend. I said that there is no need for all this stuff, gemstone, mantra, and Lal Kitab and all that. And I especially warned him to keep away from the hardcore Lal Kitab experts, as I find them quite foolish and superstitious. So then, and finally, I suggested him that he should go and meet one of these subject matter expert. People who are doing counseling or coaching for the IAS thing. And one name, fortunately, that I knew, and my friend's son also knew, was of Dr. Vikas Kirti. So it so happened that I had watched some of his video, and I have a great respect for him. And I had some idea that he is into IAS coaching and the career counseling. So, and since Sunil also knew about Dr. Vikas, and he agreed with me. So now both of them are planning to meet Dr. Vikas Kirti in person, and that is the right thing to do. I told my friend that he, the God who created gemstone, mantra, pujas, or for remedy or upaya, has also made subject matter experts. So we should respect these subject matter experts. I know they are very, very fraudulent people around, but those are there in the Jyotish upaya field as well as in any other field. So, but we should always keep in mind that the same God who created all these upaya remedies has also made the subject matter expert. It's not easy to have this kind of a domain knowledge on a subject. So my friend was very happy, and he's going to update me on their next move. And I wish them all the luck and the success. My idea about sharing this whole reading about this horoscope was that, see, casually when you are looking at a chart and doing career counseling and all that, then you just have a glance and then you recommend something. But when it comes to doing a horoscope reading for a very close friend or some family members, then you realize the challenges within the Krishnamurti framework. Most of the time, the online the classes on KP and the even some resources, those are very, wishy-washy kind of a thing. Not very, they lack certain, depth. So, so some paradigm shift, some new thinking is required on the on pinpointing the career counseling. And I don't think it's very difficult if we keep collecting a lot of charts and do some data analysis, then I'm pretty sure that we'll have some more clarity. Professor KSK has done his job. Now it is for the KP community and KP enthusiasts to take his legacy to the new heights and meet all these new challenges as a teamwork. If you have something, some good insight, then do share that as a comment. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for watching.